Hey everyone, my name is Damian Wilding, and I'm going to be doing my SPED talk this week on the Godot game engine. So this engine is something I've been using for my senior project. I'm making a Rubik's Cube simulator, which isn't exactly a game. It's more like it's like a tutorial that I'm making. But I wanted to use this software because I plan on using it for future projects, and I wanted to learn it, even though we're not really encouraged to make games in this class. So I figured doing something like that would work. But Godot is pretty much just a standard game engine, but it's really simplified for users. It's really beginner friendly. I used Unity a few years ago for a project, and it was pretty overwhelming, even with all the support and tutorials and stuff for it. But going into Godot was a lot simpler, I think, given all the tools and everything that it had already built into it and everything like that. So this is kind of the main screen you'll be working on normally in a Godot project. Over here is your scene tree of the current scene that you're in. It's kind of like Blender, where you can make scenes and switch between them and do stuff like that. And it's really object oriented. So like here I have the player, which is this little guy, and several other things like his collision shape, which is not viewable, but it's like that. You have like a trail, all sorts of stuff can be here. There's all different types of nodes that you'll be working with. Each of these is their own individual node. This is like the parent, and these are children of it. That's kind of your bread and butter with Godot. You'll be working with nodes and scenes. Down here is basically just your file structure. All your assets and all your scenes and all your scripts and everything will go there. This is your main workspace. There's several different things you can do here. Right here is just this is a tutorial project that from Godot where you can make a little game. This is the scene for just a player. Over here is the scene for one of the enemies. It's one of these dudes. And then this is the main scene. This is basically it's like a mobile game type screen. So like this is your screen you'll have. There's a start button that's added over here, and then like there's the player, there's a score, there's text, all sorts of stuff. But you can like click and drag stuff, mess around with it in this little editing area. And then you also have the option to do 3D type games. So you can work in 3D or 2D on your projects. And then you also have scripts, which this is where the programming comes in. Each different node can have its own script. So right here, I'm in the main script, and it uses the GD script programming language, which I think is just exclusive to Godot. But it's basically Python. Like 90% of it is pretty much just Python. I haven't really had to look up syntax a whole lot for it. But yeah, that's the three main areas you'll be working in. You also have this asset stuff where you can get assets for your games, which is really nice to have built in. I haven't used it a lot, but it is something that is available. I guess over here is where you can edit stuff on your nodes specifically. Like this is information on the nodes. Like if I do the player node, I'm selecting a little player here, which is its own scene in the main scene, but it's right here. And then this is like a bunch of information. Like I can transform it, rotate it, move it around, like I can move it over 100 pixels, stuff like that. All sorts of crap. Like if there's an attribute or something you want to change, it's probably going to be in this area. And then you have like signals where you can connect a certain event to a different node. So like if something happens, you can have another node do something. Like it'll send a signal to that node to do something. And you can use that a lot to connect different scripts and type stuff like that. But yeah, that's about all I have time to explain. Yeah, Godot is basically just a very simple game engine. It's very powerful. It has a lot of tools, and you're able to do a lot of different stuff with it. And I would highly recommend it if you're ever looking to make a game. It's a good choice. Thank you, and bye.